There are individuals and organizations who wake up every day doing great things to help move our community and our economy forward. And many of them, many of us, ask on virtually a daily basis, what more can we do to accelerate the economic trajectory of our community? Well, that's what we're here to discuss today. Over the past 2 days, over 100 individuals and organizations spanning our community have come together and begun working on an exciting opportunity, an exciting planning process that you're going to hear more about today. They discuss how we can build capacity. You'll learn about the process. Thanks to the Brookings Institution, we have access to a new, proven new methodology to help us focus on those strategic initiatives that could really move our economy forward, that will require us to follow data-driven public policy, that requires us to continuously review and analyze and act in a way that will move our community forward.
Process is needed to plot a new economic development future in this rapidly changing global marketplace. We are here today to introduce an economic development planning process for our region. The planning model developed by the Brookings Institution and RW Ventures, called Metropolitan Business Planning, is what we need to jumpstart this in Memphis and Shelby County. Phase 1 involves a rigorous market analysis and development of possible economic development strategies. We expect this phase to run through July. Phase 2 then builds an implementation plan, known as a business plan, for a lead initiative. Making this lead initiative work will be even more complicated. It will likely take until September to develop the first implementable business plan, but this is an important step towards transforming our region's economy. I want to thank Mayor Luttrell and Mayor Wharton for their willingness to engage in a process that encourages the development of data-driven strategies that capitalize on our local competitive advantages. You know, at FedEx, everything is about strategy, tactics, and organization. And this Brookings model uses a similar philosophy. I think we can use it effectively to grow our economy in what is a very challenging time. So with that, I want to introduce Mark H. Luttrell, Jr.
What we're really trying to emphasize with this event today, and really for the last 2 days that Brookings has been with us, is that this is not just another government initiative. What we're really trying to emphasize is that if we're going to grow our economy, it's going to take a private and public collaboration. Business interest working hand in hand with government interest and with the nonprofit interest and just the social interest of the community all coming together to work on a plan that truly represents the economic growth interest of our community. In a moment, when I name off the members of our steering committee, you'll get great insight into the level of commitment that we have seen and certainly what our strategic goals will be for the months and really the years to come. We are appreciative of our EDGE organization, Economic Development Growth Engine, for assuming really the leadership role in navigating us through this very complex process of identifying our priorities and establishing our implementation plans. The program is funded with a grant from EDGE and will be the oversight exercise of Reed Dahlberger, who introduced himself earlier. But we will have the University of Memphis involved for analytical.
Not just another plan that joins all the other plan and runs along on a separate track beside all the other plans that you may have heard or read about. Rather, this is a comprehensive, overarching effort that undertakes to pull all of these together and align them toward the targets that we will set, the goals that we will set, and to meet the metrics that we will establish along the way. Brookings selected Memphis and Shelby County for participation in the Metropolitan Business Program at no cost. and I want to make sure we thank you again for that. We're getting world-class. I think that deserves a round of applause. I might also add that this is not something that just popped up 6 months ago and we heard everybody else had one, so we said we want one too. Amy, this has been a long, long time. Brookings has sought to work with us in this region, probably even before you joined Brookings, Amy, but we just never could find that portal, that right place in which we want to connect. We have found that portal now, and we're bound together, and we're going to go forward and make this a very successful effort. The process, I think Mayor Luttrell pointed out, will be driven by our steering committee, work groups, and regional stakeholders. And on that note, I will point out this is not simply a Memphis and Shelby county. We recognize that our economy is regional, and that will be the approach that we will take.
Today. The first is to reinforce why conducting a regional economic business plan now is the right time. First of all, the reason why it's right is that the economy has fundamentally changed in the last decade. The roles of global economic success is radically different since the recession, and in order for us to respond and adapt to that, it requires not business as usual, not the status quo approach, and honestly, it's not going to take just riding the recession out. We're going to have to act differently because the rules of global success have changed. One of the ways it has changed is the fact that we cannot run an economy that is driven by debt, real estate transactions, and consumption. We have to grow our economy by our strengths in our traded sectors. What is Memphis really good at? What makes our economy different than anybody else, and why you have to do business here? We need to find that strength and really nurture and elevate the innovation around that, align our skills and workforce around that, align our infrastructure and other technological or land and other infrastructure to support that growth. The other change that's happened is global growth has shifted away from the United States. And in order for our companies and for our region to succeed in the new global order, we have to be more globally integrated. We need our firms, our logistics, our infrastructure to tap the growth in growing markets in places like Brazil, India, and China. The second reason why this is really important to do this now is because this region's economy is still underperforming. And I think you all know the numbers. But job growth here is slower than the US right now. In the last decade, the economic output coming out of this economy has essentially flatlined in the 2000s. Wages, median household incomes have declined over the last decade. We need to put together a plan that is going to change the direction of those indicators. So we are not talking about a plan that's going to be working on the margins. We have to focus on changing the economic course of this region, and we have to do it with deliberateness, with an understanding of our strengths, and also understanding where the global opportunities are, and take advantage of that and seize it for this region. So the timing is right, and I'm glad you all are coming together to do that. The second point I want to make is that this region's effort is different, as you've heard from all the other speakers. It is different from traditional economic development plans of the past. And it's different because it adopts what we call a private sector approach, a private sector business plan to regional economic development. So what does that mean? It means that, first of all, this is a very market data-driven exercise. It's not because it's just Brookings and we love to swim in data, but that this has to be nested in market realities, in your market strengths. And when we analyze your economy, we're analyzing the economy based on what makes the market work here, which is the strengths of your clusters, what you specialize in, whether it's in industries and functions and occupations. It's about the innovation capacity of the firms in those clusters and the extent to which we are helping to move research, products, commercialization to new firm development, new ventures, and helping them scale in a way that they can reach new markets. We have to look at the entire innovation capacity of this region to support the constant improvement of the value chain within our industry.